Okay, so it might be a little bit hard to see, and I apologize for that because I didn't know what quality of video it would play, but it's like a little bit, it looks like it's 480p or something, which I don't know. I don't know how to change that. But I think I can convey most of the information here. And hello, Velgor, welcome. So, oh, sorry, I might be talking to like the Twitch chat and then talking to you guys if you guys have any questions. This is just a very simple introduction to taking pictures of dancers in VR. I'll read you the thing that I wrote just to be more formal. Um, I formatted this to be very simple yet comprehensive with transferable skills to real life photography. Anyone can join, whether you're new to taking pictures or been at it for a while. So this will be broken down into three parts: a presentation with visuals, practicing each element taught on a static pose, and then putting it all together with a live dancer, which Gaster graciously has volunteered. Thank you. Oh, you look comfy right there and flexible. VTC, hello. Uh, and yeah, so that is the introduction. We'll play the PowerPoint. I think it cycles through the next slide every 10 seconds. So what I tried to do in this is reduce it to the lowest common denominator. This is an acronym that I like to use. It's KISS, keep it simple, silly, because when you learn things, right, having very simple mechanics it's easier to retain information. Oh, VTC, thank you for the sub. So that's what I try to do. That's what I try to bring because there's a lot of things going on when you're taking pictures, and I don't want anyone to feel like overwhelmed or just, yeah. I'm going to the next slide. Okay, so let me talk about real quick what won't be covered and what will be covered since this is taking pictures in VR. It's not like a real life camera. There's not a lot of real life lighting and functionalities that you need to worry about. So we won't be talking about like shutter speed or ISO. You won't need like tripods or bags, SD cards, batteries, flash, whatever. You just need the camera app, which is it's really nice because you can just pull it out and take a picture. And then what we'll be talking about is the camera functions. I'll be going through every single function of the camera just very quickly. And then we'll talk about this is the meat of the presentation. We'll talk about composition really quick. And then I made an acronym because it's easy to remember information through acronyms. That's why like doctors, med school, and the military use a lot of acronyms because you can cram in a lot of information into something very easy. In this case, it's be a rat, and we have the B and the E is body and environment, and then A, aperture, RAT, rule of thirds, angle, and timing. And I'll go through all of that. And then I do want to point out this first part, the B, the body and the environment. These are things that you can't control, right? You can't control like where the dancers are, how they dance. You can't control like where the venue is, where the lighting is. It's things that are outside. Uh, but this second part, a rat, are things that you can control. It's the aperture, rule of thirds, angle, and timing. And this will be like the main focus. It's really just four things that you have to think about doing to take a decent picture. Any questions, by the way? Okay, so we will begin with the functions. If I can have everyone pull out their cameras. There's actually two ways before I get ahead of myself. There's two ways to pull out the camera. The first one is to open up the small menu, and then on the bottom, on the fourth icon, it's the camera. Or if you have one hand, you can open up the uh, radio menu, go to tools, and then go to camera. If you and then it'll appear. If you just need to grab it real quick, like you have one hand and you just want to take a shot, or like another hand died, it's pretty useful. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through every element of the camera just so everybody understands what it does. So first off, when you hold the camera and it says photo on the bottom left, if you're holding it and you press your trigger button, it'll just take a picture. That's like super nice if you can just take pictures really fast. And then the top left, you can close the camera. The top middle, you can change it from viewing at yourself to viewing what's in front of it. On the right, you have a slider, a plus and minus that zooms in or zooms out. There on the right next to the slider, there is a circular wheel that resets the zoom, and just really basic stuff. And then on the bottom, you open up the camera menu. I'll be going through the whole thing really quick. It's none of it's like too crazy, but if I'm going too fast and you have any questions, just raise your hand, let me know. So the first one is take a photo. Uh, Self-explanatory. Second one is timed. After 5 seconds, it takes a picture. So if you want to like, you know, put the camera down and then run to a location or whatever to get in the frame, you can do that. The third is camera mode. And this one's a little bit interesting. So if you click on camera mode, you have three sub options. There's the local photo, which is just it'll take a picture and save it to where your VRC folder is for the pictures. Multi-layer, which I don't use very often, but when you take a multi-layer photo, for some computers it'll lag it a little bit while it does it, but it takes three pictures. It takes one picture where it's just regular whatever you see in the frame of the screen of the camera. It'll take a second picture, which is just the environment without any people. And then the third picture was just people without the environment. So if you're doing any editing or you want to like cut people out, put people in any sort of that, that stuff, it's really useful. But if you're not, I don't touch it like 95% of the time. Oh, VTC, thank you and have a good night. And then the last submenu on the camera mode, it turns it into the stream camera. And if you're recording through a software or anything like that, it will, like OBS, it will change the viewpoint from your lens to your VRC camera. But we're not doing like recordings right now. We're not talking about that. But that's another thing. Also, if you're on the stream camera and you want to take a photo with the trigger button, that it won't register. Okay, and then moving on, we're going back out of the submenu. We're going to the flying. This is a super nice piece of tool to take pictures because if you checkbox it, you can use your thumbsticks to move it around, up, down, left, right, in and out. On the top of the camera, it gives you the instructions to move it and how to tilt it as well. And while you're using the drone, you can use a lot of the other functionalities as well that I'll be talking about. So that one is the flying. The anchor, right? You have default, which the anchor will be at your VRC lens. You have local, which wherever you place the camera, it will follow your body, not your head, but wherever you're, and not your place, like where you're moving in your play space, but like your actual joystick body location, it'll follow that. And then the world, if you want to set the camera into the world, it'll be static at this location, and you can always move it around. So going on to behavior, smoothed. It's more for recording. It smooths out the video, so there's less like shakiness, like in your hand. Right. The second submenu is look at me, which it changes it into selfie mode, and then it follows your head or your view ball, I guess. And then auto level levels it so that it will always be at a flat plane, so there's no tilting. So if you have look at me and auto level on, it's a very clean kind of following you type of look. Or you could have, yeah, or you could have it one without the other. And then trigger takes photos. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you have it on, the trigger takes photos. Okay, then moving back up to the focus. This is uh, something that I'll get more into when we get to aperture, but aperture and focus are basically interchangeably used. What focus is like the blurriness of a picture, right? If you're really close to something, it'll blur it out. If you turn on full auto, there should be a little circular reticle, and if you put your hand in front of your camera and then you click, you point your laser onto your hand, it'll focus onto your hand but blur out the rest. So it blurs out depth that is not in the distance of that subject. If you move your hand out of the way, it should resume that clarity. But if you put your hand on the other side, your hand should be blurred and the rest of the camera should be clear. And if you go into semi-auto, you can actually manually on the left or on the right, you'll see a slider. This slider changes the strength of the blur. So if you put your hand out again onto the circular reticle, the edges, the background should be blurred. If you take that aperture slider up, it should be less blurred. If you bring it down, it should be more blurred. So you can really fine tune how much control you want on that. And then the last sub option under focus is manual. And with this, the circular reticle on your camera disappears, and instead you get focal distance. And it's basically taking how far it is relative to the camera and blurring it. So this is like the maximum amount of control that you could have. So if you set it to really close, like 1 or 0, that means it's really close to you. If you set it to the maximum distance, to like 10, that means the focal distance is very far from you. And then the aperture, again, is how much blur you have. So if you're at focal distance 1, and then you're at aperture 1, then everything except for what is very close to you will be very blurry, if that makes sense. And then if you set the focal distance to 10 and the aperture to 1, then the things at a distance should be very clear, but things close to you should be very blurry. It's a little bit to process if you're new to this, but if you play around with it, it'll make a little bit more sense once you try it, in which we'll have a little bit of a live um, demonstration on all these elements a little bit later. Or you could just be like me and put on full auto and then just point the reticle at where you want to focus and take the picture. That's super simple, right? Any questions on that? That was a lot to get through in a really rapid pace. Okay, so moving on to the next one, there are pins. You can save 3 pins and they'll have separate settings. So if you decide, oh, I want to have, one for a drone, one for a selfie, and one like that's following me on local or like at another angle, you could do that and just change the pins so you don't have to go to this place, set up the camera, go to that place, set up the camera. It's really nice, really nice. And then you can go to mask, which is the next option. We have local user, which if you, let me do this. If you turn it off, you won't see yourself. Local is meaning your own avatar. So if you want to make yourself invisible in the picture, you can. Remote user is everyone else. If you don't want other people appearing, you can turn that off and it'll just be like a ghost town in the picture. The environment, you can turn off the environment and it'll make it like a PNG where uh, you can only see the people. And then you can green screen, which is really nice for editing if you want to like put people in, cut people out, for whatever you're doing. And then UI, You can show the user interface on the camera if, for whatever reason, you need it. The next one is lens visibility, and this is only for yourself. Other people, I think for safety reasons and like privacy reasons, if you have your camera out, everyone will always see that you have the camera out. But if you're taking pictures and you don't want to see the lens, you can always turn it off. You can turn it transparent with ghost, or you can make it solid. So you always have like a reference to where the camera is. It's more of a personal preference. Then you have filters. I think that's all pretty self-explanatory. You can only have one filter on at a time if you want to just spice it up. You have photo resolution for the next one, and uh, you have four. Let's see. You have five types of photo resolution. I've never looked at what config file is, so I can't tell you what it is. But if you're taking like 4K or 8K pictures, it might lag your PC a little bit before you come back because your computer's processing, all those pixels. And then the final two, you have lock, which just locks your camera, so you can't accidentally like grab it. Super nice. I use it all the time. And then you have grid, which when we talk about rule of thirds, this is a super nice cheat that you can use to frame your photos. And that, I believe, is all the functionalities of the camera. And Penny Neko, hello, welcome. Any questions on any of that, really? Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, hold on, let me change my camera back to stream. Okay, and this is where we really begin to talk about taking pictures and the good stuff. So composition is, this is just a definition, but it's a structure of elements that make up a picture. It's basically the points, the lines, and the shapes. And I use these examples specifically because um, these are the points and lines and shapes are what draws attention to the human brain, right? It's very easy to get your mark. For this class, like our mark is the dancer. You want people to be looking at the dancer. You want people to be looking at Marcy. You want people to be looking at Winnie. Just like you can see right here, I'll draw the shapes, right? This is a circle, and then you have them in the center. So it's like a bullseye, but you also have other elements. You can see how their arms and legs are spread. So it really leads you, like your eyes, like directed right towards the bullseye. Um, like here, you have these lines that kind of just direct you right up to the dancer. Right here, this one's a little bit more abstract, but you have, I think this is Wraithix? I think that's her name.
Wraith.
But Wraith, yes. Um, you have these lines, and this one kind of, that just draw you towards her gaze, which is looking at you. And then you have this one again. You have the circle, the bullseye, and you have all these lines that just draw your attention into the center, right? It's very like simple stuff. If you can, it's like if you can just see in shapes and lines instead of complexities, kind of boil it down to that. It's a little bit of a skill to learn, but like when you start seeing it, it becomes really easy to take pictures. And I have a few more examples that I'll talk about later. Oh, oh my gosh, Lucy, thank you for the raid. I hope that your stream was good. We were just teaching photography here. And Penny, we just talked a little bit about the VRC camera functions before you came in. And hello, hello. Thank you, Lucy. We're doing good. Okay, so again, points, line, shapes, really, really simple stuff when you boil it down. Anyone have questions for this? Okay, getting on to the next
Hmm,
slide.
Actually,
What's up?
does the background also help with those lines you were talking about? Like for
Yes.
the targets, the environment was just like, oh yeah, very much with like Marcy and Winnie, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The you put those
Just
two
taking
together.
advantage of that environment.
Yes, yes, exactly. Okay, let
It
me.
wasn't really a question, more like a clarification.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yes, we are teaching photography, Lucy. Okay, so let's talk about like the body, right? Because the body, the person dancing, or if you're taking pictures in real life, you wanna convey like a mood. Here's just some examples, right? If they're dancing really hard, if they're going at it, if their body is very dynamic, uh, and you wanna capture that moment, right? Here's some things that it's a little bit pixelated. I'm sorry for that. Here's some things that you can look for to to convey that. For example, you have Nina here dancing. She dances pretty dynamically. If you see hair flowing like that, it's like they're like moving very like flowy, fluid. You can see like the hair moving here as well. Another is like open body language. Like if you're just like in the middle of sorry, I have to reset. If you're in the middle of movement, of big motions, of like complex motions, that's like a very dynamic approach, right? And you can capture that. You can see again Nina here. Oh, you can't see this one very well, but we'll use these as examples, right? Her legs are spread, her arms are at angles. This one, you can see her body is like tilted at an angle. She's clearly like, moving backwards. Or if you want to take a picture of like a more calm, more mm, yeah, minimal, peaceful picture of like a dancer, you have my brain is dying right now, but you have them in a very static pose. There, I think
Phosphor.
phosphorus. Yes, yes, it's phosphorus. Uh, Thank you.
That's phosphorus.
Yes, you have them walking, and here's just another one. Omni. They're just walking,
I think that might
posing.
be Omni.
Yep, yep. Right. So you have very different types of body language that you can convey, and it also helps to like watch them for a little bit. Like if they're at the last 5 minutes of their set, they might be a little bit tired, so they might be dancing with a little less energy. If they've been dancing like at the end of the night and they had like 4 hours of dancing, they might be a little bit tired. If you want to take a picture of them like a little bit more energetic, you might want to take a picture of them at the beginning. Or if the song's super hype versus like not very hype, right? Like a slower tempo song, just kind of absorb all that in and then watch them. Watch them for a little bit before you take the picture and you'll get the vibe. So that is body, and then we'll talk about the environment. And again, you can't control their body, so you just kind of watch and observe. And the environment, this is really, really important. There's a lot of things to the environment that you can work with, uh, that you can take advantage of, right? Here's just some, right? You have lighting, mood, contrast, texture. You have crowd. Right here, you have scale. Like right, if you've ever been to Schism, it's a very small venue, but there's a large kind of like cliff edge, and then this massive 3D screen, and it always brings a lot of like colorful visuals out, right? And you can zoom out and you can really get that like that sense of scale, these visuals. Uh, Here's another example of like I think these two are also at Schism where it's a very bright, so it contrasts against the body, which is really dark, and you just get really cool silhouettes. You can, and if you know that like the current DJ or VJ is doing something like that, you can like time these and wait for that, and it's really cool. Right, and then you have texture, right? The texture is what the background is, but also what the dancer is wearing. So you have Love. It's a little bit hard to see, but they have like this liquid latex texture, and it's like very metallic and reflective. It just catches the eye. It's really nice, right? Against this like flat screen panel. You have, I think this is Aqua. You have this kind of matrix-like texture in the background that gives it mm, like a lot of dimensions, and then you have them dancing in front of it. So it's like it's very different. Like these are very two different moods, right? And if you think when you start looking around for the backgrounds and you start timing the backgrounds, it's really, really cool. Or this one, I this one's really this one's super hard to see, but there was a flames going up in front of the dancer, and I took a picture, and the flames silhouetted them. I think this is Times Grace. It created a silhouette of them, which is like it's super cool. It's super unique. Again, you have contrast. I talked about it already, and then there's again different vibes, right? Depending on what's playing, the style of music, and how many lights are going off. Um, Very chaotic light shows going everywhere, flashing, and you capture that, and it's very different from something that's very calm. It's one light source, it's very still. So just a lot of things to really absorb when you go into an environment. Okay, so we're going to go into the four things that you can focus on that will affect how your pictures come out. So this is, I guess, of all the things to take away, it should be these four things. We'll talk about aperture, which is the focus. Really easy stuff. It is the blur around the subject. In this case, you have a foreground blur, right, where you could blur what's in front. So in Cyber Sunday, I believe, they added these metal railings to the dancing platform, and you can blur that, and it gives a little bit more depth, right, to the dancer. Or if you want, something that I do is I blur the people, and then I focus on the dancer. So like your eye kind of just goes right there. And another thing about shapes, right? This is I think Rift. You see like the circular bullseye right here, and this is self dancing. So it really leads your eye like away from the side and into the dancer. It's a little bit hard to see. I apologize. Right? So that's foreground blur, blurring things that are in front. And then there's background blur, which is basically you focus on the dancer, you have Omni here dancing, and you have the pool party in the background blurred, or you have Yandere here dancing, and the light show blurred. Super basic, super easy to digest stuff. But it does require you, if you want to take foreground blur pictures, to be behind something, right? Like you have to be conscious of like, oh, I'm going to be behind people. I'm going to be behind this object, and then I'm going to put the camera there and then blur it. So this takes a little bit more forethought. This one is like super easy. You can just get in front of the subject, point the focus on them on auto, and it'll come out pretty nice. Okay, so the second of the four things, and this is, in my opinion, like the thing that you should take away the most because it is what human brains gravitate towards, which is the rule of thirds. If you remember, your camera has the grid option. You can put that up, and if you place your subject within these thirds area, it will it'll just look good. I don't know. Have you guys ever played music? Have played piano actually? Okay. So, the thing about the piano is
Very much
like,
yes.
yeah, yes, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you just play the black keys, it'll sound good. Like it's really hard to mess it up. Like you know what I'm talking about, right? If you just put any subject into the thirds, it actually will look really good. Like this is like a super cheap because the human brain just gravitates away from negative space and into positive space. And when there's like that balance of two thirds into one third, right? Two thirds is negative and one third is positive. It's just brain dopamine trickles. It's really cool stuff. Uh, and once you get into the the habit of doing this, this isn't like a hard or fast rule, but it's something that you can follow to make pictures look really good very easily. That takes very little brain real estate to do, right? Once you get into the habit, like you will see a big difference in photos. Uh, and it's not always just vertical. Like you can do horizontal too. Like for landscape pictures, right here you can see the horizon, and then the rest is the sky. Right? And oh, I didn't even talk about positive and negative space. Did I? No, I did. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. And the third thing is angles, and it's being dynamic when you're taking pictures, right? There's nothing wrong with just going up in front of somebody and taking a picture, right? But this takes things to a new level because in VR you're able to play space move to manipulate yourself. You're able to, go way up or below or turn on your drone and fly, and like that's expensive in real life, and um, it requires skill to like levitate a drone while taking pictures. But in here, you can do it really easily, and that makes it so you can take really nice pictures at angles that you might not be able to. You can get into places where you can't physically be able to in real life. Like for example, uh, I got into. It's hard to see, but these are like can't think right
Scaffolding?
now. Scaffolding, yeah, scaffold like in between pieces of scaffolding to take pictures of dark matter, and it's kind of like a very intimate like view into their dancing. Like that's the kind of vibe that I got. Or you
Yeah, I
could
feel like I snuck in to get a nice view that I wouldn't have otherwise gotten, right? Like I'm not supposed to be looking. It's like, oh, this is a special thing I'm seeing.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so like again, like if you're looking around the environment and it gets a little bit of intimacy and you could like blur the foreground a little bit and that just adds a little bit more. You could get a bird's eye view. You could go like above, it's Gaster. Put him in twice because he's a G, right? Oh, Jarvie, hello, welcome. And another thing that I kind of like to do, this is a personal preference, but it's tilting the camera. You could see in a lot of my pictures that it's like tilted. I don't know why. It just makes my brain pump dopamine. I can't explain it. But there's like nothing wrong with taking a flat plane picture or a tilted picture or even vertical pictures. Like I recommend this. It comes out nice. It comes out nice. Getting behind. Another thing I like to do is getting behind the lights, the laser lights. It adds like a little bit of dimension to it. Um, like this one right here. Some rule of thirds. Sometimes I don't follow it all the time because I don't know. I can't explain. Like this one is definitely not the rule of thirds, but there's a lot of negative space here and a little bit of positive space, and I thought it was kind of artsy. This one's like the whole points and shapes. You have like the bullseye, and then you have Greg dancing right in the middle, right? Here too, where you have these circles. and then you have Gaster in the middle. So it's beginning to combine all these elements together. All right, rest well, Penny. Okay, we're we're almost done. I think this is the last skill. So it was just to recap, it was aperture, rule of thirds, angles, and finally, oh, timing, which is just sitting there and watching them dance and then taking the shot. Uh, if you have watched that person dance a lot, you'll know like how they move, and that's really cool. You'll know, like for example, Freya, they have like sometimes they dance like a little wider stance. They do the cat pose. I watch for that, and I like taking pictures of that. They'll like do like some pointing. Like these are like just nice things that like nice habits, right? That you know about, and then you can take pictures of that to capitalize, and you can predict, and it's really nice. Again, take your time, right? If you have the time. If you're like just in a hurry, then you can just snap, snap, snap. Like there's nothing wrong with that, of course, either. But if you take your time, you can grab some really cool moments. You can watch and learn and vibe to the music and kind of just you are capturing a moment in time of somebody performing their art, right? And when you take your time to kind of to do this, it's cool. It's a cool feeling. And then and listen to the music as well, right? Listen to the music, watch the visuals. It all comes together. So and then you time your shots, of course, when you get to that moment. This I love this picture of Love and I forgot who this was. They were walking together. It looks like they're about to tango. Like that's so freaking cool. And you don't get that very often. You don't get these interactions very often. And then another thing that I like to do, timing, which is like I call it the gaze, is when they look straight at the camera. It's just a very powerful feel because they're dancing, but they're looking at you. So it's powerful, it's intimate, it's cool stuff. And as you do all of these four elements, you'll develop your own style and type of habits and things that you like that you pick up on, and you'll do it like over and over. And when you do it over and over, you get a lot better at it, right? So it's really cool to like have that. And then I think the last two or three slides is just me giving you like a real world example. Yes. So this was on Monday. I was taking some pictures at, I believe it was Wyvern, and I thought I would give you like kind of a rundown of what I do and how I think. So here's the venue. I took two pictures of it, right? It's a little bit hard to see, but you you walk in and you look at it and you say, okay, what can I do? Right? So the dancers are on the right and left of the DJ, and you can take a picture like this of the dancers, and it'll look good. They're like you'll capture the moment, but you're like, okay, how can I work with the environment and work with their bodies? How can I take this to a more artistic level? So I looked around, like I stood at the balcony and I looked around, and here's a few things that I personally noticed, right? Just observing the environment. There's lights up here that flicker. Um, there's a lot of darkness all around, and I don't want to put the dancer with a dark background because here I took one just to show why. It's not very like visually appealing when there's a lot of light that we can work with. So we have lights up here. We have some lights playing from the video. We have actually these lights that cascade on and off, and then there is a little bit of like purple light off in space. So I wanted to work with the light because it's a very dark venue. Okay, so I flew up and I waited for the lights to cascade. Omni was dancing, and this is what I got to work with, right? You could see the lights from these steps be used as the background. I blurred the background. So using aperture, use the rule of thirds, put her into the thirds, chose an angle, and then I timed it, right? Because the lights would flicker. And I put all those together, those four elements, basic elements, and I got this picture. Yeah, just that's it. That's basically what I taught. And then there's not everything works, right? But don't be afraid to try. And I think I want to point that out that behind the DJ there is this kind of glass, um, I don't know, these glass squares. And I thought, okay, this might look good against the dancer, but I had to get up at an odd angle, and I couldn't really put much into it or work with it. And it didn't, in my opinion, I was like, this isn't like something I really love. So I was like, I won't post that. But it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to give it a go. And the last slide of examples. Xander, hello, welcome. We're back here again. I was just talking about the lights. One thing that I like to do is like highlight people with lights. So you have these lights up here, and then you have this kind of color fade on the side, and that's what I did. I flew around and I put the subjects, the dancers, I believe this was Aqua, dancing, put them in the thirds, nice yellow. I don't remember if I blurred it or not, right? Got the angle, and I waited for them to have a more interesting dance or pose, because a lot of times there'll be some tracking issues, or sometimes their hands will cover their face or their hair will clip, and it's just a lot of like watching for that. Here's another one of dark matter, right? I used the lights up here actually, and I waited for them to flicker on, and it silhouetted their body. And this one I didn't use thirds, but I did center them into the middle. So at least there's that, right? And you can see the light going off there. But then I noticed there's this little Pokeball here that wasn't there before. I believe they changed DJs, so it was a different logo. So I put them, right, going back to composition, to shapes, lines, into the middle, did a vertical, and it just leads the eyes right onto them. That's all for the examples. There's one last slide. It's more like just doing things to improve, right? Take a ton of pictures. Don't like just take one. Like if you get an angle and you're like, oh, they're popping off. Sometimes I'm just clicking on the trigger like 10 times a second, and I'm like, oh, this is they're going at it. They're going hot. And then you go back and you have to like sort through and delete some of them. But then you get that one picture and it's like super sick, and you just you love it. You show it to them. They love it. It's a good time. Uh, Again, forget perfection, right? We're all here to learn and get better. There's always going to be mistakes, things that we don't like. Uh, Try out new styles. This is more of like whatever, right? But if you try out different things like getting close-up shots, taking shots of the environment, taking portrait shots or vertical shots, you get a different mindset and a different skill set. And you can also bring that to different types of picture taking, photography, all that. Develop a style through trial and error. And yeah, there's no right or wrong way of taking a picture, right? This is all like taking pictures of what you think is sentimental. And if you think it's fire and you like it. Like there's no one in the world that can be like, no, this is bad. Like there's a picture that I took with Gaster like 1 minute before I went up. Do you remember at the pool party? And we're just posing. And I was like, it was like a selfie
Mm-hmm.
shot. Just pulled out the camera, took a selfie, and then I'm like, I gotta go. Love that picture. There's none of the elements that I
No,
taught were in that picture, but it was a moment. It was capturing a moment. It was very sentimental, right? Like that's just yeah. Again, don't ever let somebody be like, oh, that's not really good or any of that. But the things I did teach, it are tools that can help with a different quality. And that is it for the presentation. Any questions? Anything at all? Okay, good stuff. Okay, so the next part, I have a world in mind. I'm gonna drop a portal to that we can go to, and then I just thought it would be cool to actually practice the aperture rule of thirds, uh, angle, and timing. We'll do timing last. So right now, I want to do it on a stationary subject, like just to get the core down. But then we'll do timing last. We'll have Gaster dance to three tempos, three different songs of varying tempo, slow, medium, and fast tempo. So you can really get what it's like to do it in a real world environment. So how's that sound? Okay,
That's good. That's cool.
let's drop the portal. And I'll put it right here after you. Oh, I'm glad you're learning, Jarvie. Sorry if I'm not being like that interactive. I'm trying to like get through this, but I really appreciate everyone for being here and everything. It's yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's an interesting stream. Yeah, something different. Something different. And I'm gonna switch avatars real quick. Am I clothed? Fantastic. I am. Oh, there we go. And then I think I have that I can freeze this clone, I believe. Yes, that's how we do it. Cool. Okay, so can everyone run this world? No one's like super lagging. The lighting isn't like really out there. It's, it's good.
I'm good.
I'm
Okay,
good.
okay.
I'm
So
good.
I'm gonna choose. Let me just do this right here. Yes, Jarvie, we'll give you one of the clones, and you can take it home and do whatever you want with it. Whatever you want. It doesn't do chores though, so you're out of luck. Okay, let me let me make a pose, and then we will work with that. Oh God, I can't do things on the spot. Here, random pose. Okay.
Let's go.
Um, so first thing, aperture, right? Be a rat. We'll go down the list. Aperture. So there is something in the forefront, and there are a few objects in the forefront, and then of course there's the background. If you would like to play with the manual setting, you can as well. And I'll do it too for the stream. So just I believe if you want to blur the foreground, you might have to use semi-auto or manual. I'm not sure if it does it on full. So it's a good time to really learn the tool. And then blur the background and then, take a picture. Oh, that's a TOS angle right there. Holy moly, what did I do?
The way I have mine, it's like the block is being a perfect sensor bar.
That's great. Okay. Um, we're all ready to move on to rule of thirds. Anyone still going at it? Just let me know.
Wait, just a second.
Of course, take your time.
Mac. Okay.
Okay, all ready? Okay, let me do a better pass because this is bothering me. I don't know if this clips or whatever, but yes. So A for aperture, R for rule of thirds. And using the grid at the end of the options uh, on the camera, that helps too if you want to place that rule of thirds very neatly. Yeah, the VRChat camera is pretty good. And then there's a VRC lens, which is like it mimics a real life DSLR camera. You have so much more you can do with it, but I I never use it. And then since we're here already, try different angles from above, from below, from far away, from up close. Just spin the camera, zoom in, zoom out, what whatever you like. It is all about playing around with it. Jarvie, you already know that is a sussy angle. That's the Steppies angle. Oh, thank you for following. Dark King Nightstorm 1248. Oh, there's one thing that I almost forgot to point out is if there's anybody that uses props while they dance, like the spring ball joint or the like finger trail effects. Yes, guilty. You're guilty.
Very guilty.
Yes, I
Oh, that one.
the the focus on that goes crazy because it reads different depths from all the particles. So if you're taking pictures of somebody using props, you might have to turn off the focus, the any type of focus, or else it'll just look kind of wacky. Like it might blur their face or it might blur um, just everything. And don't be afraid to combine the other elements of focus, of aperture, of rule of thirds with the angles, right? This is all coming together. Hmm. Oh, look who it is. Hey, Chrome, what you doing? Oh, someone invited you to one of these? Yeah, I don't know. You take pictures professionally, Chrome. That's funny. All right, and once everyone is feeling good, we'll move on to Gaster dancing, and then that'll conclude it. All right, everyone ready, or they still wanna spend some more time here? All good. Okay,
I'm
Gas.
good.
Okay,
Mhm.
Gaster, do you have a do you have a world picked out?
I was looking for one. Honestly, I might use the Wyvern world
Yeah, okay.
that it was at because I forgot to find one, and I have like no worlds favorited.
You're good. All good.
World hopping. Who does that?
Yeah, just get the best world from your friends, of course. You hate the flying camera, so I get the
I
invisible
just go where they send the link to.
avatar. Exactly. Yeah, I do that too, Chrome. It's just more control when you like take pictures with PlaySpace versus drone.
Oopsie.
But this is more like beginner intro stuff and
Oh,
learning the functionalities of the camera. But yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes I don't even go invisible. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna fly. All right, let's go. Yeah, they're two different things.
I did something a little silly. I accidentally hit the join button before drop portal, so I just went just dropped it as fast as I could.
Wait, you're quick. That's that's good. That's good.
I was like, did I hit the join button? Let me just.
Okay, let's wait for everybody. Do the does the video player works, right? And everything.
I tested it with my song link.
Oh, nice. Wow, you're so prepared. Way more prepared than me. All right. Yeah. Oh, see, this is a good place to
I
do
did this 5 minutes before your class started. I'm not that prepared.
it. Oh, you're good. You're good. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Chrome. All right, and for the stream, I'm going to mute the music because I don't want to get a copyright because I plan to upload this as a video. Uh,
So I'm just gonna look schizo to your stream.
yeah, but you'll get the dancing.
I mean, I danced to.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, do you dance to your own music? Like, do you make your own tunes or? Okay, going at it. How am I not that prepared? I don't know, man. Life is in shambles. All right. Again, they'll be dancing to 3 songs and just go at it. Take everything you've learned. Oh, thanks for joining, Jarvis. See ya. Oh, you got this. Let's go. Oh, so good. Oh, so good, so good. Hold on, we gotta throw the snow at him. Yeah. And then hold on, before we do the next one, I have this if you guys want to try. I have an invisible avatar. If you want to get close without uh using the drone, because sometimes just holding the camera feels better. So let me put that on and then turn on cloning. Yes, yes. Okay. I am right here if anyone wants to try to do it without the drone, just like getting up in their face. But up to you. And then if you have play space mover, you can just fly around. It's a lot more control, and you can angle your camera. Oh, deadly hug. Okay, whenever you're ready. Okay, yeah, switch it up. Good stuff. The ghost boops. So good, so good. Wah. It's snowing in your head. Why is it so cold? Ooh, spicy. Oh, ghost dancing. Oh, there you go. Hooray! Yes. Oh my gosh, are you okay? Oh, okay. Holy. Okay, okay.
That's fine.
Ah, you were
I'm turning
killing it.
gamepads on.
You were killing it. Okay. Yeah, that was it. That's,
Let's go.
oh, the voices manifest into reality. So yes, that was the course. Oh, let's wait for VXO to come back.
I'm here.
Oh,
Kick
welcome
me
back.
out.
Oh no.
Welcome back.
Yes. So that's it. That's everything. Hopefully you guys learned something. Um, if you're in the server, it'd be really cool if you posted like if you went out, looked at the pictures you taken and posted like the ones that you liked on it. Just be like, "Hey, look, learned something new. Took a picture of these." So we can all see, share with the class. Oh, wait. That was so fast.
Was that?
Wait, that was so fast.
How'd
Oh
you do
my.
that?
Oh my God.
I'm in your
Yeah,
walls.
speed.
Oh, that's
Let's
Yo.
go.
That's so cool. Oh my God. Yes. If you want to have any questions, let me know. If not,
Unrelated to photography course, anyone got any constructive criticism for my dancing? I'm always willing to learn.
No, but I'll take some from you.
Hips. Just jouis.
Well, I have a quick question. How many tracks do you have?
3, but I also use fake elbows with virtual desktop. So I have
Oh,
some
damn.
kind of elbows.
Your movements are fluid as hell. It's so awesome.
If I'm in the right spot, my tracking is like mwah.
Hmm.
And now I caught my breath fully.
Ugh.
All right, one more, even faster.
Whoa, we're gonna do Rap God, but it's the fast part on loop.
Let's go. Let's go.
And I just have to do tutting.
Yes.
No halftime. All.
Oh, you know what? I do want to take a picture of everybody, just like as a, hey, we did this kind of thing. So you guys are already in the pose.
I want to be extra. How extra can I be? If I can do this.
100%. Yes.
There you
Oh,
go.
I love it. Love it.
Exceptionally extra.
Okay, let me got that. Okay, we'll count down from five. Five, four, three, two, one. Cheese. Whoa. Okay. Thank you.
Let's go. Thankies for the
This is
course.
great. Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you so much for everything. Both you
Thanks
and
for all the
Chester, thank you
teachings.
so much.
Let's go. And thankies for dancing.